I never thought I would need to call 911 while standing on my own front porch. I especially never imagined that the emergency would involve my service dog being assaulted by the president of my homeowners association. But that morning taught me a hard lesson about entitlement, power, and what happens when someone believes rules apply to everyone except them. When I moved into Sunnyside Estates, I was looking for something simple. After returning from military service overseas, my priorities had changed. I didn't care about luxury or prestige. I wanted stability. I wanted quiet. I wanted a place where I could rebuild my routine without constant stress or chaos. Sunnyside Estates seemed perfect. The homes were modest but well-maintained, the streets were clean, and the neighborhood advertised itself as peaceful and orderly. One of the biggest reasons I chose the area was the walking trails. They looped through the community and connected to a small greenbelt nearby. Every morning, residents could be seen walking dogs, jogging, or just enjoying the calm. For me, those trails were essential because I never walked alone. My service dog Maverick was always at my side. Maverick is a golden retriever, trained professionally to assist me with post-traumatic stress disorder. He is calm, focused, and attentive in ways that most people never notice unless they know what to look for. He alerts me before panic attacks fully set in. He keeps me grounded when my surroundings start to feel overwhelming. He creates a sense of safety when my mind tries to pull me back into memories I would rather forget. He is not a pet. He is not an accessory. He is medical equipment, protected under federal law. Because of that, I know the Americans with Disabilities Act extremely well. When you depend on a service animal, you learn quickly that not everyone understands the law, and some people choose to ignore it entirely. Still, I never expected my biggest problem to come from my own HOA. The first time I met Karen Whitfield was the day I moved in. I had just finished unloading boxes and stepped outside so Maverick could stretch his legs. He sat calmly at my feet, wearing his service vest, watching the street with quiet alertness. That was when I noticed someone standing at the edge of my lawn. Karen was holding a clipboard like it was an extension of her arm. She wore a crisp polo shirt, khaki shorts, and an expression that suggested disapproval was her default emotion. She introduced herself as the president of the Homeowners Association, emphasizing the title as if it granted her authority over everything within eyesight. Her gaze dropped immediately to Maverick. "I don't recall approving a dog for this property," she said. I calmly explained that Maverick was a service animal, not a pet, and therefore exempt from HOA pet restrictions under federal law. I spoke politely and respectfully, because that is how I handle conflict. Karen responded with a tight smile and an exaggerated sigh. "People are always finding loopholes," she muttered before turning and walking away. That was the moment I should have paid closer attention. Within the next few weeks, I began receiving HOA violation notices. The first claimed my grass was slightly too tall. The second said my mailbox color was incorrect. The third accused me of leaving my trash bin visible for too long after pickup. Every notice was signed by Karen, often with a smiley face that felt passive-aggressive rather than friendly. I complied with every request. I adjusted the grass height. I repainted the mailbox. I moved the trash bin immediately after collection. I didn't argue or complain. I just wanted to live quietly and avoid unnecessary attention. But it became clear that no amount of compliance would ever be enough. At the next HOA meeting, Karen unveiled a proposed new rule. All animals, including service animals, would need to be registered with the HOA and wear HOA-approved identification tags. The room fell silent. When I raised my hand and explained that this violated the Americans with Disabilities Act, Karen cut me off. "Federal laws don't override community standards," she snapped. Several neighbors looked uncomfortable, but no one spoke up. After the meeting, Karen pulled me aside and leaned in close. "If you want to be difficult," she whispered, "I can be difficult too." That threat lingered. The following Saturday morning began peacefully. I was sitting on my porch, drinking coffee, reading the newspaper, and enjoying the quiet. Maverick lay at my feet, relaxed and alert. Then I saw her shadow stretch across my lawn. Karen marched toward me holding a spray bottle. "Your dog is violating HOA policy," she announced loudly. I stood up and calmly explained once again that Maverick was a service dog protected by federal law and that her proposed rule was not legally enforceable. Her face flushed red. "I'm tired of you people thinking you're above the rules," she shouted. Before I could react, she raised the bottle and sprayed Maverick directly in the face. Maverick yelped and staggered backward, pawing at his eyes in confusion and pain. My heart dropped. I stepped between them immediately and demanded to know what she had sprayed him with. "Vinegar and water," she said smugly. "It won't hurt him." I rushed Maverick inside and rinsed his eyes thoroughly, shaking with controlled anger. Once I was certain he was safe, I called 911 and reported an assault on my service animal. The police arrived within 20 minutes. I provided documentation, explained everything, and pointed to Karen's house. One officer spoke with her while the other stayed with me. From my window, I watched Karen gesture wildly, clearly confident she was in the right. She wasn't. Karen admitted to spraying Maverick. The officers explained that interfering with the service animal is a federal offense and that her actions also constituted animal cruelty under state law. They asked if I wanted to press charges. I said yes. Karen was arrested in front of her neighbors, screaming about lawsuits and evictions. Several residents watched silently. One later apologized for never speaking up. In court, Karen arrived with an expensive lawyer and an entitled attitude. The judge was not impressed. Federal law supersedes HOA rules. Disability accommodations are not optional. Karen was sentenced to jail time, fines, community service, and mandatory education classes on disability rights. The HOA removed her unanimously the following week. Sunnyside Estates is quiet now. Maverick still walks beside me, steady and calm. And Karen learned that some rules cannot be ignored.